How are you guys doing? There's a saying I always say, and people say, Jen, why do you say this? That time is not fluent. And the reason why I say this is because um, I hope everybody's truly doing well. So when I say time is not fluent, what I mean is, and some people will never understand this, and some people will get this. When you are time traveling, right? Or if you're going to other dimensions, right? There is no time. Okay? They don't perceive time like we perceive time. Okay? There's no time. Okay? So that's why I say that. Now here, time is measurable. We can measure time. We can record time. But when you go to other dimensions, when you go through portals, because we are portals, we can open portals. And there's portals in many locations, and we are the portals, okay? So I want to go back to a time, and I want to talk about if you guys have experienced this. Okay, so I wrote some stuff down, okay, because I'm getting downloads like no tomorrow, okay? So I want to talk about doorways and infants, doorways and universes, okay? Because there's many universes. I believe there's affinity of universes. So I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to this experience that I experienced, because I experienced many experiences, you guys. I need to clean my desk. My desk is a mess. But um so I was in the car with my grandson, and I want to use this as an example, okay? I was in the car with my grandson, and remember I said the car came through a portal, okay? Or I went through a portal, okay? The car was not there, okay? So the car came through the portal, okay? And I know this sounds crazy. And thinking about it, like going back and thinking about my experience with my grandson in that car accident, a real car accident, okay? On my dimension and on my timeline, okay? What is so interesting is how that car came into my timeline, okay? So I keep replaying that day. The reason why I keep replaying that day, because that day showed me that the things that I have perceived, the things I have perceived, observed, not just perceived but observed with my own eyes and experience, right, were real to me, okay? So remember I said there was no car there, okay? So what that is showing me is there's no car there, but a car just appears, right? Out of nowhere, okay? Now, did that driver know that they were coming into my timeline, okay? Or was that driver pushed into my timeline, okay? Because we could have hit straight on, okay? Because I'm at a stop sign, I'm pulling out, and I'm making a left-hand turn, right? Now, I'm looking right, I'm looking left. There was no cars, okay? And then all of a sudden, a car appeared, abracadabra, okay? So I asked myself, was this car pushed in my timeline, or was I pushed in their timeline, okay? And I also asked myself, there's so many questions surrounding that day. Okay. Um, and are we in a holographic universe or multiverse? Okay. Hey. So I asked myself these questions because everything about that day, thank you, everything about that day was not measurable. Okay. Um, and this is not the first time this happened. Okay. And honestly, to be honest with you guys, I swerved my car and the car swerved. Okay. And this is why I believe that this car was pushed into my timeline. The reason why I say that is because of what I observed, right? And you have to be an observer of events, because if you can't observe the event never happened. Okay. And I know this sounds crazy to some people, but is this possible? Okay. Yes, I believe this is possible. I believe, like, even locations, um, you can walk through a portal, and we are a portal. We can open portals. Okay. We have the ability to open portals. Okay. And this is something that's not talked about. It's not just not talked about. It's something that we need to be talking about, because some of the events that are occurring in our reality, right, and the way we perceive our reality, right, um, is not all our reality. And the reason why I say this is because that car was pushed in my timeline. Okay, there is a timeline shift that occurs all the time. Okay, and you could be pushed into a different timeline, and I believe the timelines are, there's it's to affinity. Okay, and I believe that that day, like, I replay that day over and over. Okay, I pick up my grandson. It was a normal day. Okay, no rain. The weather was beautiful. Okay, we were in the car. We were talking. I was very focused on the road. Okay, and this wasn't the first time I experienced this. Okay, there was one time in Florida where I experienced the same kind of events. Okay, and the person that appeared in my timeline, I've never got even a phone call about the accident. Okay, and the girl seemed so real. Okay, like, she seemed real. Okay, and there was no phone call. Okay, so, and then I keep seeing these vans. Okay, they call Hopper, Hopper, Hopper vans, right? And they have, like, location, latitude, and all that, right? And I'm wondering what these Hopper vans are for. Okay, like, if you look on a Hopper van, I don't know why I'm saying Hopper, because that's the name of it, Hopper, but it has like a ping, like a line, right, where it pings, and then, like, it's like it's pinging off of something, right? So you need something to project. I wrote some stuff down. So I feel like you need to take, like, I don't know if this is a laser or a projection to feed through this computer, or this multiverse. Okay, and I know I may sound crazy as hell, but I feel like, the old projectors that we used to have, the real old ones they still use. Some people still have them old projectors. Um, and it's like a photograph, right? And the projector cannot be in the same room as the hologram, right? So the projector, but I believe it can. And the reason why I say this is because when I was, and I know, okay, so I at the stop sign, I can go right or left, and I had to go left. There was no car there, you guys. Okay, there's no car. How do I explain this? And not just that there was no car, I could have been dead. My grandson could have been dead. And the driver, the grandmother, and his girlfriend could have been dead. Okay? That day, nothing seems right. Okay? And even when I went to fight the ticket, okay? Because I'm like, I'm not paying for this ticket. I didn't cause this accident, okay? And I even fought with the insurance companies. I have full coverage on my vehicle. My car is paid off, okay? And then when I was in to fight this ticket, the cop represented the guy that hit my car. He was a young boy. He was on his learner's permit. And the cop, when he was we were in there, it was me, the cop. The cop was on one table. I was on one table. The young boy, his grandmom and girlfriend was behind him. And the judge was in front of us. Okay? And he had his radio on. Okay? Now, normally a cop, their first instinct is they're going to turn the radio off when they're in a courtroom. No, he kept his radio on, you guys. Okay, I pay attention to everything. I may seem like I don't pay attention to detail. I'm very detailed. Very, very detailed. Live isn't working. Can you guys hear me? Tatiana says the live is not working. If you can hear me, give me a heart or thumb up. So the police officer sat on the opposite table. Okay. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or a heart. Okay. I want to keep going. Okay. And I notice when I do my videos, the time will go forward and backwards. So somebody is making my time on my videos and my lives to go forward and backwards. Okay. And the crazy thing is they think I can see it. Okay. So what they'll do is my time will go forward and then my time will go backwards. Okay. I'm not making this up. Okay. So somebody's obviously doing this because I'm not doing it. I'm not making my time go forward and backwards. Okay. Now, do I feel like we have... Okay, so let's talk about the multiverse, the doorways, the holographic universe, the multiverse. Okay. So I don't get distracted here. Okay. So, because there's a lot of distractions. They will distract you out here. Okay. And I noticed that. Okay. Because they don't want the truth to come out. Okay. They want AIs and bots. If you're not seeing somebody in the flesh like this, they're AIs and bots. Okay. I've seen so many AIs and bots. It's unreal. And then people are coming on like, oh, I'm not AI, I'm not bots. Well, let me see the flesh. Because the flesh doesn't lie. Okay. Now, some people's flesh lies. Okay. They wear masks. And then you just take the mask off. Abracadabra. Okay. So, what I'm saying is, even when I went into the courtroom to fight this ticket was $200. Okay. So I represented myself. It's a small traffic ticket. It's nothing big. But I replay that day over and over. Okay. And not just replay it. I'm paying attention to the detail. Okay. So the detail is that the same officer, okay, that appeared at the accident, okay, that wrote the report, okay, is the same officer that showed up in court. Okay, obviously he has to do that. So if you get in an accident, an officer writes a report, right? And normally the same officer has to appear in the court because the officer observed the damage, but he didn't observe the accident, right? So then they have to come up with a conclusion. Okay, just think about this. An officer has to come up with a conclusion of who was wrong and who was right. Okay. And he said I was wrong. And I told him there was no car there. Okay. Now, he wasn't there at the stop sign with me. So I'm like, okay, am I being set up here? Okay. Am I being set up? Okay. And if I am being set up, okay, who's a part of this setup? Okay. And I keep replaying this day, and I'm going to get answers to all this. Believe me when I tell you. Okay. Because this is what I do. Okay. I can see. Okay. So, did I push myself out of my own timeline? Do I believe we can push ourselves out of our own timeline? Yes, I do. Because I could be dead, okay? Dead in the physical, okay? Not even be here speaking in the physical, in the spiritual, okay? So what I'm saying was I set up? Or this car was just riding along and just came in my timeline, okay? So what this is showing me with this doorways, okay, or universe, or holographic universe, or metaverse, okay, things will appear to seem one way and they're not that way, okay. And the reason why I said, now that day I observe my experience, okay, I observed the event, okay, because I was in the event, right? So you have to have somebody observe the action, right? So I'm observing it and it happened. But it's more to what I'm observing. And the reason why I say that is because of I'm an energy reader. Okay, I can read energy. Okay. And even when I was in there, so the cop sat down and the cop was act like he was representing the teenager. Okay. And I called on my friends and I told them about my day, about me going to the court, the district magistrate. And people were like, what? The cop was doing what? I said the cop had his radio on. Okay. And did he accidentally, like, well, I forgot to turn my radio off? No. Okay. Because he has been in the courtroom many times. But the way the cop was representing the driver, the other driver, it was like he was his lawyer. Okay. Which, that whole thing, if I could have recorded that day, I believe I was set up. Okay. I was set up. Okay. Somebody set me up, and I'm going to find out who it was. Okay. And somebody pushed that car into my timeline. Okay. So when there's accidents that occur, are they natural cause and effects? Okay. The natural cause would have been, okay, the car was coming. Okay. I looked both ways, right and left. Okay. There was no goddamn car. Okay. And then all of a sudden a car appeared. Abra fucking cadabra. Okay. It appeared. And I know people may say, Jen, it just might just be that the car just appeared. No, the car was not fucking there. Okay. So what I'm getting to is, I feel like the car was pushed in my timeline. Okay. And also, like, I felt like my car was being protected. Even though my car had damage, because it could have been I'm on the driver's side and my grandson is on the passenger side. He wasn't even sitting in the back of the car, right? So what I'm getting at is, do I believe that we're in a holographic universe or metaverse? Yes, I do. Do I believe there's doorways of infinite universes? Yes, I do. Okay. But what I'm perceiving of it is like a laser, but can't even be a laser or a projection that you can be fed out through a computer. Okay, like a computer software, right? And like they take a photo, the projector cannot be in the same room as the hologram. Okay, so I'm out there, okay, in my home, okay, and the portals are opening, okay, because I am a portal, so I'm opening those portals, okay. So when you're out somewhere, a portal can open, or you can walk through a portal and not even know that, okay. So are we walking through portals? Yes. Okay. Are we going through portals? Yes. And also the projections cannot be in the same room. So if the projection can't be in the same room as the hologram, somebody's projecting these holograms, okay? And who's projecting these holograms, and how is these holograms being projected off to us, okay? That we're it, because you think about it, it's magic with these holograms, okay? Because it can appear one way, okay? So it appeared as though this car was coming down the goddamn street, and it wasn't, okay. And then I got in a car accident. It appeared that way, okay. um so who pushed that car into my timeline? Okay. um did I say I want this car to be pushed in my timeline? No, I did not say that. Did I jump into another timeline? Okay, and this car was in the other timeline. Okay. um I don't know why I keep have to revisiting this. Okay, because I feel like there's so many questions I need answered. And I'm going to pursue it until I get the answers to what actually happened that day. Okay, many of us get in car accidents. Many of the car accidents are our fault. Some of the car accidents are not our fault. But that car was not there. Okay? That car was not there. So, and the crazy thing is, I should have had more damage to my car. Okay, so if we think about a holographic universe, okay, a lot of things that we're seeing are holographic. Okay. uh, um and also a lot of things that we're seeing is a projection. Okay. And the projection of the AI, or the projection of the hologram, is there has to be somebody feeding this projection. Okay. Because now, are we projecting certain things? Yes, I do believe that. Okay, do I believe it's just somebody feeding just as programming? No, I believe we are also projecting our own stuff. Okay. But I feel like a lot of things out here are holographs, projections, and they have to have your photograph. They have to have um, the projector or the laser or the light. There has to be some kind of light. Okay, just think of the old projectors. Okay, remember the old projectors, and you would have them outside, or those old movie theaters you would drive through, and they had this big drive-through movie, and they had the projector up, right? And there's that light coming off that projector. Okay, so they're projecting events and holograms, and metaverses that I watch sometimes TV, and I'm like, that person is not even standing there. Okay, so I believe technology is more advanced than what they're saying it is? Yes. And the reason why I believe it's more advanced is the next video that I'm going to do. Okay. So it's some kind of projection. I was just writing stuff down because I'm getting so many downloads, and I keep replaying that day over and over, because the way the cop was representing the person was like, I'm the bad person, okay? And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, okay? It doesn't matter. The accident happened and it's over, okay? But something was blocking more contact to my car, okay? Because really my car should have been gone, okay? Because I made that left turn. So I'm out there in the middle making that left turn. So I'm on the driver's side, okay? So, and he's coming this way, and he's not in my timeline. So we should have had a head-on collision, okay? I wouldn't be sitting here right now, okay? But something was blocking him. Even though he touched the car, it had some damage, it should have been worse, okay? And he was not there, okay? I'm telling you, he was not there. And that's what I told the officer. There was no car. Why would I pull out in the middle of the goddamn road? This is what I told this officer. Why would I pull out in the middle of the fucking goddamn road and kill me and my grandson? Why would I do that? There was no car. So do I believe that cars are coming through portals? Yes. Okay. Do I believe people are getting in accidents that are not even their faults because of this? Yes. Okay. And this is things we should talk about. Okay. Because some people have crossed over and went to other places. Okay. Other dimensions. Okay. Somebody's operating, okay, this hologram, okay, this projection, okay. Now that's why I say the moon, I really believe the moon is a hologram, okay. It's a projection, okay. And the light is coming off the moon to project this hologram, okay. And you guys, I took pictures of it, okay. The moon was so close in the dome that you can see it projecting off, right? You've seen the pictures I took, okay? So, yes, do I believe we're in a hologram? Do I believe that there's hologram projection or holographic universes or multiverses going on? Yes. And I also believe that the projection was not, I wrote down the projection was not there, but there has to be a picture or a people, place, a thing or image of you to project something outwards. So they have to take an image of you, boop, boop, and project yourself outwards. Now, a lot of us don't have money to have this kind of technology, okay? We don't, okay? You have to have money to have this kind of holographic technology, okay? To even make it seem like you're there, you're not there, okay? So I also wrote down projectors, laser lights to our own mind looks real. And it's not fucking real, okay? And to even think about this would be like, make you batshit crazy, okay? So projections have to be in another dimension, reflect what we perceive or what we're seeing are being shown, okay? So this is very important here. So projections have to be in another dimension, reflect what we perceive or what we're seeing or what we're being shown, okay? There's a lot of things right now that is going on in the current events that are projections, okay? And these projections have to be in another dimension. This is so important. This phrase right here is the most important one out of all this stuff, okay? So the projection has to be in another dimension. It has to reflect what we perceive or what we're seeing, okay? Because time is measurable, right, on this dimension. When you go to other times and stuff, there's no time. This is why I say time doesn't exist. And people are like, Jen, time exists. Yes, it does exist, okay? But the way I perceive it is not that way, because I've been to different dimensions. I have last night, okay? I got to call a friend. I had a dream about a friend of mine, okay? He's in another state, okay? And there's a message I have to give him, okay? So I had a dream about him, and it was like I was there, okay? And that's for the whole other video. So let me just stay on it. So this is the most important thing of the whole thing. So a projection, a laser, a light to our own mind has to look real, right? Also, a projector has to be in another dimension, right? Or in our dimension or another dimension, right? And it reflects what we perceive, what we're seeing. So you know how you have the people in the news, or a celebrity, or just the average Joe out here, right? So if and this is gonna be something that we need to really focus on, because in the future this projection is not a good thing, okay? Because you can perceive something is real because you're seeing it with your own eyes. You can measure it, you can time it, okay? But it's not what we're actually perceiving. It's a projection. So a lot of things that we're seeing are projections from other dimensions. A reflection are what we perceive, because we have to perceive it. So the only way we can perceive it is if we observe it. So that this is very important. So we have to observe something to perceive what we're seeing or what we're being shown. So our eyes are we observe things with what? Our eyes. We observe things with what? Our ears, right? So if we see something with our eyes, we perceive it to be real. And some of the things that are happening are not real. So is this magic? Yes. Is this multiverse or this hologram distorted? Yes. Okay. Now, do we have some kind of control of this? Yes and no. And this is very dangerous. This technology is very dangerous. Okay. And the reason why I say it's very dangerous is because you can perceive something actually happen, right? Event. Okay. Say a big event happened, right? We perceive this event to happen, right? Because we're seeing it with our own eyes, right? We're witnessing it. We can observe it. We can time it, right? And so we perceive it's real, okay? Or we experience it, okay? And we're not crisis actors out here, okay? We're real people observing something, and we're not getting paid, or we're not a part of the play, okay? We're not the actors or the actresses. We're just bystanders, all right? And we're perceiving something, event happened, and the event didn't never even happen, okay? Hey, so hologram technology is crazy, and I feel like it's dangerous, okay? We're in many timelines. Some of us are in different timelines, okay? And you won't know if you're in a different timeline. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story how I knew I was in a different timeline from some other people. So, you know everything that's going on, right? Some people are not even seeing what's going on, okay? Because they're in a different timeline, okay? Remember, I feel like the timeline, I see it like a straight line, right? And I also see it up and down, okay? So a timeline, okay, so I'm over here on this timeline, right? And somebody's over here on this timeline, right? So I'm witnessing something that somebody else has not witnessed, okay? And then somebody over here is witnessing something. I witnessed something that they did not witness, Okay. And they witnessed something that I did not witness. So there's a timeline split. Okay. Now, are we splitting timelines? Some of us are being pushed forward, and some of us are being pushed backwards. Okay. In time. Okay. And people say, Jen, how is this possible? The car accident that's how I know it's possible. Because I just drew something and it looked like the place, like the thing where I had the accident. Okay, so this is the line, right? So I'm coming, the car is coming from here. So we're gonna put a circle. Okay, this is where the car is coming from, right? This is where I'm coming from. Now, where I'm coming from, okay, the car that's coming this way, they only have to look forward, right? But since I'm turning, right, towards them, okay, I have to look to the right and left of me. But they only have to look forward, okay? So when I looked to the right and left, this car was not here. But this car was not here. I'm just saying where it originated from, okay? So by the time I seen the car, okay, so I look both ways. I make that left turn. By the time I seen the car was already here. Like it was on top of me. And they swerved and I swerved. Okay? And something blocked a fatal hit. Okay? So do I believe this car was pushed in my timeline? Yes. So I want to repeat this again because I feel like this is so important, and then I'm going to end this. I feel like we're all on different frequencies. We're all in different dimensions. We are in a multiverse. We are in a metaverse. That's why Facebook is called Metaverse, because it's a metaverse. You can get lost in the metaverse. And who, I don't even know who, is it Elon Musk? Whoever started the metaverse, somebody's controlling the metaverse, okay? The metaverse, okay? So, like when you're in games, I don't play games, but think of it like that. Like you're playing a game and you're inside the actual game, okay? Inside the actual metaverse. And there's people controlling the controllers in the game, right? And my car is driving forward, somebody's controlling the controller, right? I'm controlling the actual vehicle, but somebody is controlling the controller, okay? And then the car that just appears in my timeline, I believe that the car appeared in my timeline was actually pushed into my timeline, okay? So somebody was controlling that vehicle with a controller, okay? So I just want to say this. Time is different in many universes or multiverses or metaverses. If you think about the movie Back to the Future, we need to reference that. I am on my live sometimes and the time will go backwards. The time will have negative. And somebody's running my time backwards, okay, on my lives. And then somebody, you'll see negative 39 minutes and 25 seconds. And they'll have the negative sign in front of the 39 minutes and 25 seconds. How is that possible? Now, do I feel like we can control time? Yes. Do I feel like somebody else is controlling time? Yes. Okay. So I will do more videos on this because I feel like we can control time. Okay. There's a there's a there is a watch, right? But it also looks like the tree of life, right? And the Egyptians used to wear this watch, right? I have my watch off. I always turn my watch off when I'm on my live so it don't start going off. So the Egyptians, they have a watch, right? And inside the watch, okay, let me show you. There's like, it looks like flowers. And some people say it's the tree of life, right? But I don't believe it's that. I believe that this watch was controlling time, okay? I don't believe like it was. Do I believe they had watches back then? This is why I said the technology that we perceive is more advanced than it is. And this is where I'm going to go with the next video, that what is really going on, because this will affect all of us. Okay, so I will come back on and I will do another video on what I'm seeing. And I touched on this. I talked about this. You guys have been following me for quite some time. No, I've been talking about this. So I feel like time, the thing that they call the tree of life. They're even on churches. I took pictures of it to show you guys. And they can't figure out why these Egyptians had these watches on. Okay. Now, were they measuring time? Okay, think about it. Or were they controlling time? Okay. So we'll come back to this. I want to talk about what I'm seeing in the future, but I'm going to leave it on this. So projection has to be in another dimension, reflects what we perceive and what we're seeing or what we're being shown. Okay, you guys? All right, you guys, it's Jennifer Felix. I am it's not, some of you guys are new to my channel. I see a lot of new people here. So be careful of the projections, the holograms, and these technologies, okay? And it's kind of hard because if we witness it with our own eyes, we perceive it's real, okay? So I will come back on and I will go and we'll talk more in depth on this, okay? So thank you guys for joining me. This is Jennifer Felix Readings once again. Thank you guys so much. And you guys put your input on this. You could have it. I'll come back to this, okay? Because I definitely want to come back to this, okay? So thank you guys for joining me once again for this lecture or whatever. I need to get paid for this, okay? But this is why I'm here, okay? And we'll talk about this more, okay? All right, you guys. All right, you guys. Love you guys. Bye.